Welcome to the Bonus Boss Podcast with me, Benny Ulich, and of course, as always, I have with me Ryan Collins.
Hello.
So how's it going this week?
It's going all right.
All right. So as usual, I suppose I'll ask you, what have you been playing?
Yeah, I was just looking this up to remember what it's called. I'm not good with names of like anything.
Yeah.
I always forget, especially names of games, because if it's not like a mainstream game, if it's an indie style game, which I play a lot of, they can be random names. But the game that I've been playing, and I think I talked about this before, is this game called Blood Sprout, which is basically the or Blood Roots, not Blood Sprout. I don't know why I said that. See, I already messed it up. Blood Roots, but it's basically a game that it's kind of like a slasher style game, but there's different, I guess, levels, and everything in the world can be kind of turned into a weapon to kill guards in a certain area, and there's usually like a main boss kind of thing. So you go through the area and have to attack the guys, and basically if they touch you once, you're dead. So but it's pretty cool because you don't have to like start over the level, you just start over in that one area. So the goal is to kind of make like a chain reaction of kills in an area, and then it's kind of something you gotta like play to fully understand. It's hard to explain, but it's a pretty fun game. I haven't played any new games. Actually, I did play. That's a lie, because I did play Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I played that the night it came out and got it midnight release. I streamed it on our Cruel Fan Gaming Facebook page. Streamed that. Didn't get that far because there's a lot of course, in those games, just the length of the game means that the setup of the game is also very long. Pretty cool so far, but I have to say, like, and I say this in the stream quite a bit, all of the actual fighting in the game, actual like when you're using your weapons and things like that, like, I think the storyline is very good, and like the complexity of the storyline with the world, like the open world and like everything like that, is very good. But the actual fighting, like from going from a game like Ghost of Tsushima, where like the um sword style and fighting is like so important and like clearly done well, especially, I guess that's makes sense because it's a samurai Japanese style game, so they want to make it very cool. But from going from playing a game like that to like just like the mechanics of the fighting in Assassin's Creed, I think it's like night and day. It's just clearly not as good. Also, I think that this is one of the games that I did see previews for, but they were obviously all being played on a PS5. So when I played it on my PS4, the graphics were substantially like looked worse, but like for a PS4 game, it looks fine. But things that like, I don't know if you have had this experience before, but there's little graphic changes in games that stand out that when they change over to a new system, or like when they finally become available in a game, it's like so simple, but is awesome to see that they've done in video game technology. A perfect example of this for me is snow in a game, which in Red Dead Redemption was probably the first game that I can remember that like snow. Well, they did it a little bit in Grand Theft Auto too, but where when you walked through snow, like you would leave tracks in the snow and it would be like visible change and like everything like that. And the graphics were just very cool looking with that stuff. But now when I saw it in Valhalla, it seemed like kind of a little bit overdone because there's snow everywhere. So it seems a little bit overdone, and it seemed like not done as well. So I don't know if that's something that in with PlayStation 5, it just looks better and it like runs smoother and everything like that. Supposedly the load times and everything like that are like superior in the PlayStation 5 versus the Xbox and versus the PS4 Pro, which is what I have. So I'm interested in seeing how they the rest of the gameplay, like, little things like that. I think that's like the main thing with these new systems in general is like little nuances of games that aren't necessarily going to come up on like a stat sheet when you're reading
Yeah.
like the differences of the game, but like when you're playing it, you see something like that, like the snow or something. I'm just wondering what that's going to be like for PS5. Water is another huge thing, like in games, like it's like, anyway.
Well, I was gonna say I have three major things I watch for to see how impressed I am with graphics. It's water, grass,
Yeah.
and hair.
Yeah. Yep.
Hair is really hard to get right, but
Right. Yeah.
like you've been seeing it more and more where they get it right. And same with water, same with grass. Like
Yeah.
there's just a lot of cool stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's really funny when like I'm playing something and you like I was playing Horizon Zero Dawn, and granted that game came out a few years ago, but I went like over to some water and I was just like watching it for a little
Yeah.
bit, and
Yeah.
just it's so pretty. That's a pretty game.
Yeah. Yeah, another game that's very beautiful in the like just because of the size of the world and everything that's like underrated is Just Cause. I think I've like
Mm,
talked about this game before, but you can take like jets in the game and like all sorts of stuff, but when you get up to like a high mountain you're overlooking everything, it's a very like good looking game. I mean, in a game like Uncharted, you expect it, and it
yeah.
it does take you back when you're like what playing it and looking at stuff. You're like, wow, like that's amazing graphics. It looks real, and and
Mhm.
the things that I can appreciate about Assassin's Creed is the detail that they put into like historical games, right? Like, so I heard that they used like Assassin's Creed to rebuild like Notre Dame and like,
Mm,
because of the historical accuracy to buildings, places, and things like
yeah.
that they actually have like better records, and they've taken the time to go through and make it and everything. So anyway, excited to see what like in those games. But anyway, that's why I'm playing this week. I'll probably play some more Valhalla. I actually kind of forgot about it. Which isn't a great sign for a new game when you forget
No.
about it. But at the same time, I've just been busy doing stuff. So it's definitely good. And I know people that have been playing it and been playing it pretty much nonstop. So I started off good with a bang, started off the midnight release and had a countdown to it and everything and played it. And I just haven't gotten back to it. Very uh interesting. It's very hard game to stream, I think, because there's so many fans of it that they want to play it themselves. They don't want to
Yeah.
see you play it. So it's anyway. What have you been playing?
Well, so I wanted to, before I get to that, mention like what you were saying about kind of forgetting about it. I think that it's tough right now because there's so much happening, so many things coming out. We just got the Xbox and the PS5, and there's a bunch of new games that are coming with those. And then, like, I was just remembering a game I keep forgetting about, and it's supposed to come out. What's the date for that? I don't know. There's an Ubisoft game that's coming out soon called Immortals: Phoenix Rising, and it looks like it plays a lot like Breath of the Wild. Like that's just kind of the thing that people are doing right now.
Hmm.
But I keep forgetting about it. It's like I'm looking forward to Cyberpunk
Yeah.
and the new Spider-Man, and there's going to be a new Horizon game sometime next year, and there's going to be a new God of War, and it's like, oh yeah, Phoenix Rising is coming. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's
Yeah.
just there's so much going on that stuff is going to get shoved under the rug, and unfortunately that's going to happen with Assassin's Creed too, because as cool as that game looks, we know that past games have not delivered quite as well.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, that just keeps happening. But
Yeah. Assassin's Creed's an interesting game because I think if you like, I'm probably the exception to the rule. I've played some of them and not all of them, but I think like the majority of people that like that game, they've played every single one and they like stick to it and they play it and they judge them differently or whatever. But I'm not like that. I haven't played every single one. I've actually started a lot of them and not finished a lot of them. Um, anyway, it's just but it's to me, it's like, because of the cult classic, like,
Yeah.
following that it kind of has, like the people are just gonna follow it no matter what and play it no matter what. And they know that
Mhm.
you know, it's just, to me, it's just kind of like same story, different area or whatever, like it's
I've
like,
yeah, I've only started the first one. And I wasn't into it at the time. I might try it again at some point. It's on my big list of games, but
yeah,
I just we'll see.
yeah.
As far as what I've been playing, I'm kind of at another in between point. Last week I finished No More Heroes, and eventually I'm gonna end up getting No More Heroes 2, and I'll play through that too, but I haven't gotten it yet. So right now I've just been kind of fiddling around with it's called, what is it called? Mighty Number Nine. It's
Huh.
like it was created by one of the developer, like the main creator of Mega Man, and it's supposed to be a lot like Mega Man, but unfortunately, it's not as good. It's uh, it's not great, but it's interesting and it's fun enough. It's something like I've been watching TV. I'll set up my computer and I'll be watching something on Netflix and just play the game while I'm doing it. So
Yeah.
so that's what I've been playing right now while I figure out what's next. But I wanted to say something about, so this last weekend was my birthday, and as one would expect, I got video games.
Yeah.
So I got two games for my birthday this year. Here's one of them. Got Super Mario Odyssey,
Nice.
and I haven't tried it out yet.
I
Actually, I
never
haven't.
played that one.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm hoping it's pretty good. I've heard good things. And then the other, I haven't tried it yet. I'm really excited to finally play.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Right? I'm so
Nice.
excited.
It's great.
So okay, so I started it. I mean, I didn't really play. I like booted it up and I like was playing with the settings, and it asks you about like the visual presentation and stuff. So I want to
Mhm.
know what you did. Did you go for English? Did you go for Japanese? Did you do the Japanese with English subtitles where it's black and white? Because I
Uh,
thought about that. I thought about it.
so this was like something I actually thought about for a while because I'm streaming it.
Uh-huh.
So when I was streaming it, I was thinking like, would it be cool if I did the whole thing in Japanese because weirdly enough, I mean not weirdly enough, but like it because I was playing this game so much when I was streaming more, and I need to get back to streaming more, but um I had a sizable following from like, Japanese people. And
Mm,
like, I
yeah.
started getting like, Chinese people, like other, Asian nationalities and stuff, and people like watching me play and actually following and stuff. And they share like crazy, and they have, so numbers of views and stuff like that would go up, and all of a sudden I have all these people watching me. And then I was thinking, maybe I should actually like cater to them and like put it in, the either use the subtitles or something. So I tried that I think I did that one time. I tried turning on just the subtitles, like keeping the English dialogue and using the subtitles in Japanese, but I didn't continue doing it. But yeah, I just use like the regular settings with
Yeah.
English most of the time.
That's
It's
probably what I'll
like,
end up doing, but I love that they like created it to do the black and white and
oh
be
yeah.
like an old Japanese film, and
Yeah,
oh, I
it's
love it.
see, like that is used at some points in the games. It's more like, artsy or whatever, and there's
Yeah.
there's a lot of there's a lot of like, for example, in the game at one point there's just like a guy like randomly somewhere, and like I don't even remember this happening, but apparently he said like, one day I'll fight you, and then you like like run into this guy. He's like on a cliff somewhere, like very like obscure place that you really wouldn't be in the game, but I so happened to be over there. And he's like, and it's a scene with like all these like they love in that game using leaves, right?
Okay.
Like
Yep.
colorful leaves and wind and everything, and it is very like a good looking game because of that reason. But it's it was a battle like in front, and actually I haven't beat him yet. He's pretty tough. So But anyway, you'll enjoy it. It's definitely a game that will annoy you at times because it's very hard. And I actually I'm playing it on like expert mode or like the
Okay.
highest mode you can play. I forget if it's expert or hard or whatever is the highest, but I've been doing that a lot with games lately. I did that with Valhalla too. I've just been trying to challenge myself a little bit more with video games and just like instead of just playing on like normal, try it on like the harder setting and see if I can beat it. And then like the funny thing is like halfway through some games let you change it back, like we'll let you change it back to normal mode or whatever. But the funny thing is like halfway through you're like, wow, I should have not played this on hard because now it's like impossible to beat. But that's a game that you can actually like play on hard and like it's still be fun and enjoyable.
Pretty much anything I play for the first time, I do it on normal.
Yep.
And then because like the way I see it, and it's not to say that people who play on easy or people who play on hard are wrong, but like normal is like the intended setting for games, because
Yeah.
it's like, okay, so normal is like the base standard, and then you cut some things or whatever, lessen damage or something for easy, and then you add more enemies or make you take more damage or whatever for hard. So I like to, like, especially being so story focused, like I don't want to be the guy that plays on like light or whatever and just flies through it, because I like the challenge too, but I want to be able to get to the story and not get so frustrated by the game being challenging that I don't care about the story anymore. So
yeah, that's the one thing about that game too, is it's different in the sense of like the story mode I think you could still follow and everything like that, and and I'm not a huge cutscene watcher. Like I usually end up skipping them, to be honest with you. I know that kind of like breaks your heart because
that's so rough for me. I don't get it, but that's okay.
But yeah, like so I don't really like. But streaming, you have to watch them, like because people want it.
You know how bad people would be if
it's.
I accidentally did that a few times. I've been streaming Genshin Impact.
Yep.
And like I would think somebody was done talking and I would accidentally skip past their dialogue because you have to press X to like continue.
Yeah, right.
And I'll be like, I think they're done with the sentence, and then I skip past it and I'm like, oops.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that a little bit, but I like how you do like the different voices of the characters.
Yeah. I do it when I'm in the mood for it. I didn't really last week, but like I that game's fun. I like that game.
Yeah. It started off a little slow, but I think like a lot of games like that, like the reason why, like, okay, so like in Breath of the Wild, for example, it starts off slow and then it gets like a lot better and everything like that. But the reason why you push through and like know like just to like do it is because Zelda games are going to be awesome or whatever. You don't have that expectation with Genshin Impact, so it's like, you might just like play a little bit of the start of it and be like, this is annoying, I don't want to play it anymore, and like just stop.
Look, I should have gotten a real boss fight that time when you see the dragon.
Yeah.
But instead you just follow behind it and shoot at it. That was so lame. You can't lose.
Right, yeah.
Like there's not even a timer for like you got to beat the clock. Like there was nothing. It's just
how many different characters can you play as in the game?
There's probably more, but I have 4 right now.
Okay. Yeah.
It looks like there's gonna be more, and you can have 4 at a time, and so it looks like you'll be able to like adjust your party. But right now I have just 4.
Huh. Man, that's pretty cool. That's a cool like addition to the game, like make it something different.
Well, and that's the thing, is it really is in a lot of ways similar to Breath of the Wild, but it also has similarities to like the Final Fantasy VII Remake or games like that. So you have a party and you can switch between them, and I'm really enjoying it. I often don't think about it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, it's Sunday, it's time to stream. I guess I'm playing Genshin some more.
Yeah, right, yeah. Which is, it's good just to have like a consistent game like that you're playing on that day, like just like mess around and have fun with it. Because like I said, I end up like forgetting about games. Like I really want to beat Ghost of Tsushima, and but But oh yeah, but getting back to that, what I was saying about the storyline is like you because there's so many tasks in like the open world and stuff, like the main story you still follow, but there's so many other storylines of like little things that happen and stuff that are added to it that it kind of is like a Grand Theft Auto slash Red Dead Redemption kind of storyline, something like that. So but anyway, so this week, oh, I don't know if you heard about this, but there was an article on cruelfan.com on the gaming section. Ubisoft actually had like a fake hostage situation that they're building in. I don't know if it's their headquarters in Canada or if it's just like a building of theirs in Canada. But anyway, kind of interesting. Yeah, I don't know if it was just like a stunt move just to like, like there's like this online craze of like, what do they call it, like rating someone or like whatever they like call
Oh,
someone.
swatting.
Yeah, swatting. Okay, so I didn't know, I don't think it's like that, but they're still investigating it. It's basically came out to be a hoax, and they're still investigating it to see
Yeah,
like what happened with it and everything. But I just thought it was kind of newsworthy
that's
this week, kind of interesting.
such a nightmare.
Yeah.
So I'm going kind of off the cuff here because I don't have like the information in front of me,
Yeah.
but I've heard from, like, I've read multiple articles from multiple sources saying that for one thing, Sony intends to have the PS5 back in stock for Black Friday, but Xbox, the new one, may be out of stock up through even like April next year.
Wow.
So, in a way, that's kind of a good sign for them. Like, I get that it's unfortunate for us, but like, they had a certain amount. Like, they probably had a lot ready to go.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, in some ways, like, I don't know. It's cool to obviously like have the technology first and play it first, but you also like like anything, there's a lot of bugs in these machines, and they're like not necessarily like ready for the amount of gameplay that like people play on. Like it's just not tested to that extent. Basically, is my point. They, and conditions in people's houses, things like that, with dust and pet hair and like all that stuff. Like, you gotta remember this machine is pretty big, so if you have it in the wrong area, chances of it like overheating. I heard that the PlayStation 5 like overheated in a Best Buy or something, and I don't know if there's been any like real stories of the machines like catching on fire or anything like that yet, but like certainly like stuff like that could happen. The the As far as like sales, it sounds like the PlayStation 5 is like either doubling or tripling the sales of the Xbox, but I think that will kind of level off when like people buy the other versions that the Xbox has, because they have more options of what to buy right now. And like I think that it's good news for PlayStation as far as like sales and stuff like that goes. But like you said, like it's harder for average people to get them right now. Like I think even at Black Friday, I doubt that you'll be able to get one. I doubt that most people are going to be able to get them for Christmas. I don't know why they don't just like release it in, especially this year with the pandemic and people being laid off and like stuff like that. Like we've both been affected by that. It's like I don't know why they don't release it a little bit early. Like I get they're trying to make it a Christmas thing, but like for a lot of families, like I see like people on Facebook, like moms and stuff like that, like I have to get this, like please help me out, and I don't want to pay like triple and stuff. And I took a little scroll through eBay before the show, and people are selling like PlayStations, which I think the retail is like 450 or 499.
499, yeah.
Okay, 499
with the disc drive.
Yeah. So people were selling them on eBay. I mean, granted, like eBay prices can be what they are until somebody actually buys something, right? But like people are spending and actually listing them for like 1,500,
of course
1,100, like $1,000.
Of course they are. Look, quite frankly, like I understand that people are saying that that's like scummy, but I mean, it's only scummy when, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it is, because if somebody's willing to pay that amount, like, get your money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't
Like,
I don't mind necessarily like upcharging for it. I think I think putting something like double the price of it is crazy.
it's
Your
ridiculous.
but your
No, for
argument
sure.
of like that if people are willing to pay it, then it's their own like
Yeah.
fault kind of like I
No, and
agree.
that's the
Like
thing.
I'm not gonna go out and buy like an $1,100 PlayStation 5, but I could see that like if people first of all, I don't trust really with that sizable of a purchase, like I don't trust like an eBay listing, to be honest with you, like of
I,
like from for like electronic stuff, I would say.
I probably shouldn't,
Yeah.
but I bought my PS4 on eBay.
Oh yeah. Did it work?
Yeah,
Yeah, it worked
yeah.
fine. So yeah, maybe that's just like a personal thing
I
with like
mean,
stuff like that, I guess.
let me
But
be clear. I don't just like willy
yeah, yeah.
nilly buy stuff on eBay, but like, you look at how that seller has done, look at, all
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
details and whatever. But yeah, I bought mine for like, let's see, when they came out, they were selling for like 300, I think, right? And I
Mhm.
got mine for like 275, and this was 2 years after it had come out, but it was the bundle that had uh what was it, Battlefront, I think, Star Wars Battlefront. And it also came with Resident Evil 7, and it came with a headset that I used for years, and it came with another game, Far Cry Primal. And I sold the
Uh,
games. I sold the games,
oh yeah.
and then bought different games. But that's how I got my PS4.
Yeah.
But my thing is that, like, I'm not going to pay more for, like, so, like, in the case of the PS5, let's just say I had the money in hand and I was ready to go and I was ready to buy one right now. I'm not going to pay more than the retail price just because I can't be patient,
Yeah.
At most, I'd pay the retail price.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish that the other part that I wish to this whole like madness that happened, I wish I could just like click buy it now, right? On not eBay, on Best Buy or something like that, like some retailer, right? And it would just tell me, okay, your PlayStation 5 won't come in until 4 months. Like I would
Yeah.
be completely fine with that. Like just like guarantee that I will have one at some point and I can count down the days instead of like refreshing and trying to like beat this madness of like, getting one online and like this whole thing. Like I have friends that have it already and stuff like that. And I have another friend, shout out to Josh Rogers, that has one, an Xbox already. So I have both worlds, my PlayStation 5 friends and the Xbox too, so I can see who likes it better. But I think for the most part, like people, this isn't going to change anybody's mind. Like, same thing with how the election went. I don't think really anybody's mind got changed in the last couple of months, right? Like same thing with Xbox and PlayStation. I think if you were gonna, be a PlayStation person, like, and you, especially if
Yeah.
you play like a lot of multiplayer games, or if you're into a certain style of game that's only available on one console, you're not gonna buy. You might buy both, and that might be something that I do as well because of the cheaper version for Xbox without the like disk drive or whatever, like the digital versions of them. That might be something that I would do.
Mm-hmm.
But you might even then like. Um, Another big problem is going to be just storage of the games. These games are like massive, and
Yeah.
they're already massive on the PlayStation 4, but and I have the Pro, so I think I have like a terabyte worth of storage, and I'm constantly like deleting old games and stuff like that. I would like to not have to do that, and I know I just have to like suck it up and get an external hard drive now and just like get a very large external hard drive and just rely on that. So if you did that and you had like two versions of like without disk drives, you'd probably be in pretty good shape
Mm-hmm.
as long as like they can comfortably format on the different drives. I heard right now PlayStation 5 isn't even like saying that drives are compatible with it yet. Like
Nope.
things like
You've
that.
got to use their cloud storage.
Right, yeah. So that's going to be a whole nother issue too, because it just seems like they're turning into Apple a little bit where you buy a phone and then you gotta buy a million different accessories in order to listen to music on it. It's like the
Yeah.
same type of thing. But what else was I gonna say? Oh, the PlayStation 5 in itself, I heard that you can connect it. So don't go out and necessarily sell your old PlayStation for this reason, but you can have your old PlayStation in another room and
Yep.
play your PlayStation 5 through it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So for like me, I have like a gaming setup kind of in my office where I have two monitors. One is like a computer monitor and the other one's for gaming. And then I have like the living room, so it'd be cool to be able to just kind of like, play, which was what I bought the I think it was a PlayStation TV it was called. It
Hmm.
was this little device that connected to the Wi-Fi and you would be able to do that, but it was so bad. Like it would just like the games would just skip it and everything like that. So I'm really hoping that with this new technology, it will be like seamless and just like work well, and that would be awesome to be able to, go in between games and like all that. It would be pretty cool. So we have a little bit of a. It's not really a game, but I don't know how to describe it, but a kind of make your own character design. Which actually, now more I think about it, we should have like drawn these or like
Oh,
Photoshop them or something, but whatever. It doesn't matter.
yeah.
It would be cool, but maybe maybe we'll do that one day. I don't know. We'll
I
do it on
I
another one.
I can draw stick figures.
Yeah, I can't draw to save my life, but I'm pretty good with like the computer with Photoshop and stuff, so it'll be kind of funny to see it. But anyway, so you kind of gotta just it's a podcast anyway, so you kind of gotta just use your imagination. But we did make your own character. This also includes like it could include things like mental toughness, let's say, or like problem solving abilities, or weapons, or it could be body parts of a character that you liked, or whatever. You're making kind of like your perfect character. Which is kind of interesting in the way I built mine, because these aren't like my favorite characters in games. I'm just kind of making like a super character more. So anyway, I'm gonna start off. I think that like the the coolest like character to me has always been Link from Zelda. So like
Mm.
I picture him as this, and so if you picture just like Link, just without like just like the basic like green whatever that is, shawl or whatever that he's wearing, like when he starts off that thing, and then just imagine like slamming different body parts onto him. That's kind of what my character in my mind looks like. So first I start with the ray gun from Call of Duty Zombies. I don't
Okay.
know if you've ever played Call of Duty Zombies, but it's pretty fun. Usually in the like older versions of the games, like so this year coming out is Cold War.
Okay.
That has a zombies version, and then like World War II had a zombies version and stuff. All the like newer versions of the games, like the Modern Warfare, like those style of games, they don't have like the zombie features. So but there was a ray gun and one I think it was the World War II version. um I'm not sure if it was earlier than that. I can't remember. But I just remember like playing this particular game with friends like for hours, and it just becomes like really fun because you have to like play off each other. It's a really good, that would be a really cool co-op game to actually stream, because it's you have to work together. You have to like um know what to do at certain times in the game and everything like that. But anyway, the ray gun, when you get it in the game, it's like a game changer for those couple levels that you have it, or however long you have it and stay alive. It's probably the best weapon at that time for that game, and I think it would just be really cool to have into in a character. I guess we could go back and forth. Do you want to do that, or do you want
No, no, you go ahead and
to? Okay.
finish up because
All right.
mine's gonna be really short and sweet.
Okay, all right, cool. So this is like another funny thing because it's not really. I just like the look of it. It doesn't really necessarily serve a purpose, but I always thought like Bowser's shell, just like the
Mm.
design of it and like everything. I just thought it was like really cool, especially like the blue shell. I thought was just
Okay, yeah, yeah.
very cool. And I just think it would be cool to like have that on like a back of somebody or something like that. And it's just like a cool, badass design. I've always when I play like Mario Kart and other games, I always end up picking like Bowser to
Mhm.
race with. I just think he's a cool character. Maybe like an misunderstood boss character to me. I have more sympathy for him, I guess, for whatever reason. uh,
Get Mario out of here.
yeah,
It's all about Bowser.
yeah,
I
exactly.
have always thought Bowser was cool.
Yeah. So, and then another kind of weapon was Legend of Zelda grappling hook,
Mm.
because I just remember playing Ocarina of Time, and when you get the grappling hook, it is like a game changer in that game, and it was just really cool. It's just like added like a whole nother dimension to the game. Like, like you get other weapons and stuff like that, and like the boomerang and like things like that are cool, but like when you first get the grappling hook, it just like changes how everything's like going in the game, and it's really cool. And then the next two are just kind of like add-ons to what I think would make a character cool. I pick Sonic's legs because he's fast, and I always get annoyed in games that have like huge maps that you spend so much time like traveling. Like I know they have like fast travel and like stuff like that, but I just think it gets like it's cool the first couple times you play the game, and then it's like, no, seriously, this is taking me like in real life 10 minutes to travel. Like that just seems stupid. And even when they give you like a horse in a game, like in even in Ghost of Tsushima, the map is pretty big. You can fast travel to certain areas, but there's quite a bit of times you have to like ride on your horse around places and everything like that. And that it does it's lengthy because of the size of the map and everything like that, and they want to make it cool, and I appreciate that, but it gets a little bit, okay, we get it, you could make a big map kind of
Yeah.
situation. um and then my last thing was just wings from Spyro, however you pronounce it. Spyro, I guess.
Yeah.
I just think it looks cool on a Bowser shell, like if the wings were on the back,
Mm.
like on top of that, and like having that whole thing, that whole setup. And I always think that games have to have some way, even if it's a glider or like some, in Genshin Impact they have like the wings that come out, and like and then in Breath of the Wild they have the glider. I think there needs to be some way of like somewhat flying. So I'm not saying that like this character could like take off and go anywhere, but kind of do enough flying and gliding around to get like off of, because who wants to fall off of a tall cliff and die every time, which in Ghost of Tsushima also happens quite a bit.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that's kind of my character. Interesting, kind of like jumble of things, but I think it's pretty cool.
Okay, so I want very little in terms of physicality.
Okay,
Okay, so here we go. I don't even know if I hit 5.
that's
I
okay.
don't think I did. All right, so here's what I got. So first, for like the general, like I don't know, I guess like the physicality of the character. Just imagine like uh you've played some wrestling games, right? So
Yeah,
like if you go to a creative wrestler and you have a custom character in any sort of game, you
yeah.
always have the option of like, do you want your character to be fat or do you want them to be like muscular or whatever? Think of like the thinnest possible. Like you click the thin option, and it's just
Okay,
like just some guy, just
all
not
right.
strong, not whatever. Okay, so that's like the general. He's not that interesting looking either. He's just
Okay,
some dude, right? I want him to have like the kind of mentality of Ethan from Resident Evil 7. So like in Resident Evil 7, he wasn't like a warrior that was there to go shoot up some zombies. He was a guy trying to find his missing wife and got shoved into this horror show, and he just had to deal with it. So that's kind of what my character is. He's
okay.
just some guy that's just going, well, I guess I got to fight the bad guys, and he's
Yeah,
gonna fight the bad guys because he has to, not because he wants to. He's terrified, but
okay.
he's got to do it. but I also want him to have the kind of like the the quips and the funny attitude of Nathan Drake from Uncharted. Because that's going to make an interesting character that you're
Yeah.
playing as. Is even if when he's scared, he makes some joke about it, how he peed himself or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. Or like he shoots somebody's ear off and says, "Can you hear me?" I don't know. Just
Yeah,
something
yeah,
stupid
yeah,
like that,
yeah.
right? And then I want him to have like I really like swords in games,
Hmm.
and maybe this is just because it's what I played recently, but like in No More Heroes, he's got a beam katana, which is essentially the same exact thing as a lightsaber. They just called it something different.
Oh,
So
yeah.
something like that, basically a laser sword,
Yeah.
right? So my guy has a laser sword, and then the very last thing I came up with is that I want him to have the traversal abilities of Cole McGrath from Infamous. So in Infamous, he's got electric powers and he can use them to float around and shoot people, but none of the combat stuff, none of the shooting, just the floating around and being able to like grind on like electric wires and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Like
that is cool in that game. It's like,
oh,
yeah,
I love that game.
yeah.
So that's basically my character, a weak-minded individual who's terrified. He's not very big, but he's got a cool laser sword. He makes funny jokes, and he can move around pretty quick.
Yeah, this reminds me of like your Batman sketch that you did. Although in that one, I think that like the character you're trying to portray is just like he's just like annoyed, doesn't want to do anything. Like it's
Yeah.
his day
Well,
off kind of thing, right?
it's
Like,
daytime. Batman can't go
oh,
out
okay,
during
it's daytime.
daytime.
That's what it
Yeah.
was. I couldn't remember. Yeah, it's daytime.
Oh, that's a great sketch.
That was pretty
Oh man.
funny.
You know what? That was one of my worst performing videos. Like legitimately.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things I've ever done. It's become a regular joke. Like me and my wife will talk about like how oh at least it did better than Batman, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
But like it's a really funny video. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. You hit some, you miss some, and things that you expect are gonna do like great sometimes don't. Like it's hard in the YouTube game to
Yeah.
figure out that whole thing. But
I thought
yeah,
my Batman voice was killer too.
yeah, you did nail it. Funny. I like the what are the drunk driving one is funny.
Mm,
Those are
that's a
probably
good
like
one,
my favorite ones.
man.
Um,
I've been like kind of falling out of doing sketches because it can be really hard to come up with something every week. But
yeah, I like the science one too.
oh,
With you
that's
and
a
your
good
wife, that one's funny. Yeah. Hey, keep at it. They're pretty funny. Like, certain ones, like I think it's like according to taste and stuff like that. But I mean, like you get a little bit of a following and stuff. It adds up. But um anyway, I almost went with a sword as well, but I wanted to keep it to kind of like not just like everything, but
yeah.
I think like when you in Zelda when you get what I didn't like about the new Zelda Breath of the Wild is like that weapons and stuff break.
Hmm.
I don't really like that new style of the game. Like I liked when you would get weapons and they would just like it would be
In your
late in
inventory, yeah.
yeah, and it would be like late in the game and like certain weapons do certain things or whatever and you'd have to just like keep them but like it seems like now they're just like randomly placed places and like then event even like the strongest weapons they end up like breaking and everything. It's like but the Master Sword in Zelda when you get that in Ocarina
Oh,
of
that was
Time,
so special.
yeah, it's just like probably the only other thing that I would add to them just because I like games with swords. I like that style
Me
probably
too.
better in a like in this style of game rather than like a gun. I just think the ray gun's cool, but like actually like fighting and stuff like that, I think the
Yeah.
swords are a lot better. But yeah, let us know how you like the battling in Ghost of Tsushima because there's a lot of um obviously like that's the focal point of the game. I actually like tend to uh play more as like with the bow and arrow actually.
Okay.
But um but you have to use the sword like all the time. But like I actually prefer to kind of lay back a little bit, get rid of some enemies, and like each like gang or horde of enemies that you come up against, they have they usually always have somebody that's firing arrows, so you kind of got to take those guys out first. Anyway, it's a really cool game. You got to check make sure you play that because it's really fun, and check out the multiplayer online too. Maybe we can play that because there's like it's a cool, like I said, it's a cool addition to the game. But anyway, I think that's going to do it for us here at the Bonus Box Podcast this week. Check out the link in the description of our sponsor, Ice Shaker. Check that out in the link in the description. They have a lot of deals going on because of the holiday season and everything like that. Hopefully, if you got a PlayStation 5, it hasn't caught on fire yet. Or Xbox, it hasn't caught on fire yet. Hopefully that's going well for you. And we'll be back next week with an episode that we'll think you'll enjoy for the holiday season. So check us back out and have a great week. Thanks.